And it goes on to say, so what do? Command them, these people in the church, to do good and to say it with me, be rich. That's where we got this series idea. Josh didn't make it up in a closet. No. Be rich in good deeds.
And so we're going to do this series that's called Be Rich. Be Rich. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But I want to start off by just letting you know that this is not, most of our series are, but this is not original material. This is actually a message series that a pastor friend of mine not only did a message series on and has every year, but also wrote a book, and we purchased a bunch of copies of the book to make them available to you. Pastor Andy Stanley from North Point Church in Alpharetta, Georgia, really the whole Atlanta area, and pastors one of the greatest churches in America. I actually picked up the phone, I called him and said, man, do you have any problem with us totally using this series exactly like you presented? I mean, I'll give a bit of my own take on it, but I want to present this material to our church because I think it's that powerful. And of course, he said, absolutely, use it, enjoy it, and anything I can do to help that'd be great. And they were very, very gracious. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this topic about being rich.
Here's the first one I want you to write down is that rich people don't like to admit that they are rich. Man, is this ever true? Rich people don't like to admit that they are rich.
And the first is that rich people don't like to admit they're rich. They don't. They at all. Like,
this is a funny one because, people don't normally like admitting who they are. Tall people don't have any problem admitting they're tall. Man, look at me, I'm tall. Athletic people don't have any problem admitting they're tall. I mean, they're athletic.
But it's interesting because tall people don't mind saying, hey, I'm tall. And athletic people don't mind saying, hey, I'm athletic. And
Dallas and Philly fans definitely don't have no problem admitting they Dallas. Don't you clap. See what I'm saying?
And then them Roll Tiders don't mind saying Roll Tide. I mean, and them War Eaglers don't mind saying War, and that goes on. We don't mind admitting who we are.
They got no problem admitting who they are. But when it comes to our money, it's completely different. Like if I were to ask you in this room right now, are you rich? None of us in this room are going to be like raising our hand, be like, over here, Pastor John, over here in the corner, you can't see me. Let me stand up. I'm rich, over here. I'm rich. I'm rich. No, you're not going to do that.
But if somebody says, are you rich? No. In fact, I could do it, but I'm not going to do it. I say, how many of you are rich? Nobody's going to go, hey, that's me, everybody. Nobody's going to do that.
You're not going to do that. And the reason why you're not going to do that is because you don't feel rich. And what I hope to show us today, and as we introduce this series, is that perhaps everybody in this room should have had both hands up. Maybe we are. Maybe we are rich. Let me explain it to you like this. Gallup did this interesting, really, really interesting poll that I love, that I read. And then they asked this question. They polled all Americans. They just said this: how much money would you have to make to be rich? Okay, there was 3 questions in this poll to Gallup. How much money would you have to make to be rich? Are you ready? This is what the average number said. Rich, $150,000. If you made $150,000 a year, you were rich.
And you're going to find out pretty much every one of us should have raised our hands and said, yeah, I actually am. For instance, I'll show it to you this way. Gallup did a poll, and they asked Americans, how much money would you have to make to actually be rich? And the answer of the poll was, if you made $150,000 a year household income, you're rich.